Let's get right into another Raw review. This one is from August 1st, 1994. Let's get right into it. As always, it starts off with a rundown of how we've gotten to the match between Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon here tonight. They also both have some words for each other. They say that the other will not make it to SummerSlam. Razor challenging for the Intercontinental belt, so he's trying to eliminate Shawn from being at ringside. Vince McMahon back on commentary. Not really sure how many weeks he's been gone. Macho Man mentions the trial as the show begins, saying that Vince was able to pin the US government to the mat. So, are people now aware that he's the owner, or are people still dumb and wait until he screws Brett to realize? I also think that this is Shawn's first match since the ladder match back at WrestleMania, at least on Raw. So getting into the action, Racer knocks Shawn to the outside, and it takes an eye poke for Michaels to get back in and in control. Diesel also plays a factor on the outside, at one point choking Racer on the ropes. Racer catapults Shawn to the outside, and HBK goes flying into Diesel. Shawn gets shoved off the top rope and into the. Okay, I can say this first try. The abdominal. Fuck, I couldn't. The abdominal stretch. Then Racer begins to go to work on the back of HBK. A couple of sus looking moves, and then Shawn sends Racer to the outside, and Diesel hits a clothesline with the ref's back turned. They knock each other out, and the ref gets to a count of 9. I legit thought it was going to be a double count out, but Shawn gets to his feet at the last minute. Shawn hits a crossbody from the top, but gets flipped by Razor for a near fall. Shawn hits the super kick, but Razor kicks out because it's not his finisher yet. Shawn then tries going for the Razor's edge, but gets back body dropped. Diesel tries to interfere, and Razor fights him off, allowing Shawn to grab the belt, but fails to nail Razor with it. Instead, he gets back body dropped again. HBK gets Irish whip, and a reversal allows Diesel to get the boot up, and I don't know what the ref was doing because this was such a clear shot. But after the big boot, Shawn rolls up Razor for the win. Dusty finish, but at least we got a winner. They attack Racer after the match, and Shawn goes for the Racer's edge, but instead just lets him go as referees come out to separate them. Just letting him know that if he wanted to, he could hit that Racer's edge anytime he wanted, or at least when Diesel is right there to help him. Next up, after the SummerSlam update, we have Bull Nakano versus Alundra Blaze. Nakano in full control at the start of the match. Luna Vachon, by the way, was in the corner of Bull Nakano for this match. Bull hits a nasty looking power driver, but she interrupts the pin and goes for the power bomb. I couldn't tell here if Alundra kicked out or if Nakano again just let her go, but Bull goes for a move from the outside but misses, and Blaze hits a suplex for a near fall. Alundra hits a crossbody to the outside. They fight too long and they eventually get counted out. Then Vachon gets in the ring to try to attack Alundra, but she's able to fight her off and throws her into Bull Nakano, and they both retreat. It actually wasn't a bad match for the first time I'm seeing Bull Nakano. I thought it was going to be boring, but for what they did, it was alright here on Monday Night Raw. Two matches in a row that were worth watching here. Then for a second, I thought Raw was over after those two matches, but unfortunately, Jerry Lawler's music hits and we have a King's Court segment scheduled. Beforehand, the King goes into the crowd to point out a couple. He makes a mistake by asking who the lady is to the guy and asks if that's his fiance or girlfriend. But Lawler corrects himself but also fucks up because he says, "Oh, she's your girlfriend's soon to be fiance." He says this before the guy is able to pop the question. They did this last year as well with Bobby Heenan. It's so weird that they have heels do this. Lawler brings the girl in the ring by herself, and that's where she gives her answer, and she says yes to marrying the guy. Lawler, though, asks for a kiss and forces himself on her. Didn't look like this was planned, so I can imagine if these guys were legit pissed. Following that, Bob Backlund comes on and rambles on about some stuff. The commentary cuts him off and tries to throw to some video. They show a clip of Backlund attacking Bret Hart after a match, so it looks like that's what all of this was about. Didn't understand why they talked over the segment, but whatever. I guess I would have complained if they would have just let Backlund talk and we would have just listened to that. So, whatever. Let's just move on. The Smoking Guns end the show with a win over some jobbers. And when I say that's how it ends, I mean the pinfall happens and the show goes to black right after. So, a lot of disrespect happening on this episode, but let's get to the awards. For the best moment, I had the Shawn versus Razor match and the aftermath. I mean, when these two guys are part of something together, it's hard not to pick them for the best moment of any given show. For the worst moment, I had the proposal stuff with Jerry the King Lawler and his King's Court. For the wackest performer, I had Bob Backlund. He's always the second thought. I remember the last time that I seen him on Raw, they cut his match to show Macho Man and Crush fighting backstage, and now again they talk over him on the King's Court for whatever reason. For the stand-up performer, I had Shawn Michaels. Not really much to go into why. So I'm going to give this one a good grade. If it had a better ending, and either of the matches on the show finished with a clean finish, I think we're looking at a great episode here, but It started off hot with the two matches and just kind of fell off. So there still aren't any great shows in 1994, even though the three pay-per-views this year have all delivered, in my opinion. Who knows why it's not translating to Raw, but it is what it is. And with that being said, I'm out.